This category is S100. I'm joined today by Karen Clayton from Find Memory Care, who produced these fantastic signs for care environments, in fact, anywhere. And signage is so important because if the environment doesn't talk to you, it doesn't work. So I'm going to hand over to Karen, welcome Karen, to talk to us about these amazing signs. Karen.
Thank you. This is one of the first items that Find actually produced for dementia care environments, and we did a huge amount of research into what was required in a sign, because if you look in general population, signs are very aesthetic. People like them to be pleasing to the eye, but they don't necessarily give a message.
So they don't talk to the person?
No. So we needed to find out how we could communicate with a person who was non-verbal so that they could maintain their independence. And there was a range of things that we use in our signs that have all proved very useful. Colour is really key. There is no such thing as one specific dementia-friendly colour. It is the contrast that's important. So any colour will work as long as it contrasts to the door. The font is really important. It has to be clear. All our wording has a capital letter at the beginning and then it's lowercase, because if it's in capital letters it becomes a rectangle and we're word blind. We read by shape. As you'll know from reading a novel, you wouldn't read a book in capital letters, you'd have to read word by word.
Yep.
So it's really important that it is the right way. We also know that not everybody can read, so we have the images, and the images depict what's behind the door. So the lounge has a picture of a chair, the toilet would have a picture of the toilet, and so on. Again, they're really simple but really clear, effective images for people. It's also important that everything is anti-glare, because in a perfect environment you have fantastic lighting and it's not an issue, but a lot of care facilities don't have that benefit. So if the lighting is wrong, a prime example would be the word toilets, which can look like toilette. And that in itself can cause quite a lot of agitation and confusion for somebody with dementia, which could not only result in that, but you're also talking incontinence and actual falls, because people then get very confused and distracted. So they all link together. And the other thing that we can only tell people about, we can't actually force them, it's the height. Everything in the dementia environment should be at 1.2 metres above the ground. So again, it has to be in eye level. If it's too high, you may as well not use a sign because people won't be able to see it.
Okay.
So they're all the features. And actually there's one other sign that we use all the time which follows the same principles, and that's road signs. So if you think about road signs, you've got your colours, your fonts, your positioning, it's all anti-glare. So it's absolutely the same.
Now, on here we have a selection of signs. Obviously there's a huge amount in your range, which you can find on the item, and you'll find individual images, but you can also do bespoke as well. But there's a selection here. Can you talk me through this small selection, please?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing to know from these is we make everything bespoke for the environment. So, for example, this one is a standard sign which has keyhole fixings, which is suitable for most care settings. Very easy to fit. The screws go on the door and then they just fit on. In a more challenging environment or in a hospital environment, it needs to be more firmly fixed. So we would have something like this one, which is slimmer and it's front fixed, so people can't get it off.
So that would be screwed?
Screw fixed.
Fantastic.
We can do self-adhesive as well. Often if it's self-adhesived in a mental health setting, they then put the anti-pick round the edge to make sure it is absolutely secure.
And would that come with no holes?
We will work with people. You can have it as you want it.
Yep.
Yeah, so everything's made to order anyway, which is why we can do the bespoke service. So we've no problems with colours, images. We do an awful lot, particularly for hospitals, for bays. So we'll maybe have a daffodil bay and a tulip bay, so we can put the specific images in and the colour coordinating to the wards. So we really do work with individuals to make sure it's exactly fit for their purpose.
And the bedroom sign, that looks an interesting sign. It's clear.
Yes, I've just taken the back out of this one to show you how it works. But again, just putting a bedroom sign on a door doesn't necessarily tell you anything when it comes to finding your way. So even if that says bedroom 1 and bedroom 2, that's great if somebody can read, but not everybody with dementia is still able to do so. If you've got the picture there, you can have a photograph of yourself, perhaps on your wedding day. A lot of people are very pet friendly, so they may have a picture of a dog. So it doesn't matter what it is, it's something they have to be able to recognise.
To identify with.
Yeah, and here's where you put the name. And
Excellent.
again, following the same principles, capital letter, lowercase, and it should be the name that that person wants to be known as. A lovely story once of a lady who had gone into a care home, absolutely fantastic to begin with, but then she'd stopped communicating, and a friend of hers came and called her Granny Kit Kat. And as soon as she heard that name, she started to react again. So in here, she knew herself as Granny Kit Kat. So It's something as simple as that can really help.
Excellent. So those are very flat. I have this one here, and it seems to be on a stand. Does it stand on a toilet?
It's a flag sign. So not usually a product in a care home because the corridors aren't necessarily so long, but often used and really needed in hospital settings because your corridors are much longer and you can't necessarily find the doors.
So I see. So this would go on the wall to tell
Yes.
you that the toilet is there rather than it being on a door. So as you're looking down a corridor, you can see the signage.
Yes, so if you're in a big environment, as you come out of an area, you should be able to see a sign for a toilet. So if you look down the corridor, you can see those in the right place. By the time you get to the door, you can no longer see it because if you're too small or if you've got Alzheimer's, you may be looking down. If you're frail, you're watching where you're going, you do still need the sign on the door as well.
Excellent. So these signage, they're very clean, they're very smooth. So I suppose from an infection control, these can just be wiped over.
They are designed specifically for the NHS, so they meet all NHS standards.
Fantastic.
So they can clean them with anything except an abrasive. You wouldn't want to scrub it, but any kind of disinfectant will work.
Karen, thank you so much. So Find Memory Care, they're actually the specialist market leaders in signage for care environments. We're really pleased in the item that we've teamed up with such an inspirational company when it comes to their signage. Now, Karen did mention that we can bespoke the signage to meet your needs. So if that's the case, all you do is email findmemorycare@theitem.tv. So I'm just going to repeat that, findmemorycare@theitem.tv. If you email there, put in a request that you would like a bespoke service, then we will contact you and we will make all the arrangements for you. So across the item, you're going to find individual signs that you can buy now and can be with you very quickly. Obviously, with a bespoke service, you'll need to email us and it will take around about 10 days to have all of your signs to you. A great, great item. Very important for the care industry. We need the environments to talk to the people we serve to improve their lives.